Hello everyone for a new project video, I guess you would call this. So I pretty much decided to try something a little different, especially this late in the league. I don't think this is the best way of making money, to be honest, which is pretty much using where's you at? There you are. If we stop lagging. Stream of conscious. I don't think this is worth running at this point in the league, but I pretty much blew through all my currency trying to craft this build that is not even fully crafted yet. So I'm pretty much out of currency completely. So I thought, why not we just try the poor man strategy for making money, which is stream of conscious, no scarabs, no sextants, no Keurig missions, just straight up out and go old school style playing. Do I think it's strong? It's okay. I don't think it's the best anymore with all the changes this league. But pretty much what we're going to try is stream of conscious with pretty much only having delirium, harvest, and expedition. Originally, my plan for this instead of expedition was to go essence, which does work, but then I would take the Keurig node also for essences, have 3 essence per map. That was my original plan, but everyone in chat wanted me to go on expedition, so I dropped all the essence and went expedition instead. But I think, what do you want to call it? Essence will work just as well. Maybe in the future I'll do the same project with Essence instead to see the price difference between Expedition versus Essence. But they both have the pros and cons. Essence does hit like a truck, so you definitely need to build for it. And, you know, Expedition sells very well. So it's really hard to say which one's the better, but chat wanted this, so that's what we're going to go for. But it's pretty much, you know, take some alpha missions, just because it's part of my next project, so I need more alphas. Blocking all this stuff. Like Legion, I would actually take, but I'm doing Atoll, so Atoll sucks for Legion because it's narrow, so that's why I took Legion off. You know, like I have the 1 point of Delirium here, so if Delirium pops up, Delirium pops up. And then more map sustains here and up here. The Shrine, this is just extra points I had left over, so I just took these 2 points up here because there was nowhere else to put them. Pretty much harvest, the full harvest wheel, strain of conscious, the whole expedition wheel. I took all the expedition except for the one down here because it would cost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It would cost 7 points to take all this, and this is too much. I didn't have the points into, so I just cut the 4% chance at the bottom, which should still be okay because we have the 50% increase plus the 2% from each of these, so it should work out no problem. Pretty much singular focus to try to sustain our maps. Do I think this is worth doing on Atoll? Probably not, to be honest, with no scarabs. I don't think I'm going to sustain my maps because I'm not going for Atoll, which I'll talk about later. But pretty much going up this way, you know, I'm doing Eater because Eater is a lot easier. It doesn't hit as hard, but I think you can do either one, whichever one you want to do, it's up to you. But that's the reason why I took this wheel. If I was going to do red, I'd probably just go down this way and pick up the red points here instead. That's really the only difference. Because then at that point, you wouldn't have to take all of this points. So you cut all this out of your build. And then the 9 points you get back, pretty much the transfer is this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you can handle 7 and the other 2, you take away those 2 and do whatever you want. But this is my poor man strategy. You know, I have the full quant wheel, the other quant wheel, the harvest wheel, the expedition wheel. 2 points of shrine here just for some more pack size for headhunter. 1 random point I had left over. And then I took the chance for getting altars, and I also took the top hat. Just because the top hat adds so much modifiers, it's worth taking in almost every strategy. But like the extra point I left over, like yes, I can put 1 point for increase of buff effect to shrine, but I thought why not just go for a duplicate map instead. There's really nowhere else to put the point. But yeah, like this is pretty much my poor man strategy. I'm hoping this works. I don't know if it will. Atoll is not the best pack size map. And also, normally you probably would want to do Atoll and Mud Geyser. Like have all these Atoll, 1 Mud Geyser. But I'm sort of working towards my next project, which is sort of a repeat of one project I did earlier in the league, just with Magic Find instead. But that's why I switched all mine to Promenades and like my 1 Jungle Valley. Because like these are the only maps that drop. Will I get the amount of maps I need? Probably not out of 144. I might get like 50 maps back or so. I'm only looking for 40 promenades, so if I get my 40 promenades, I'll probably drop promenade and go off Jungle Valley. Or maybe I'll jump back to Atoll, stuff like that. So these maps might change throughout the thing. Just as a heads up, but honestly, the amount of maps you get doesn't really matter. It's just to see how many. And like, I don't have any eater progress, so we'll count all the eaters we get. We'll count the tablets. We'll count like all that kind of stuff. Like if you were doing it from a poor strategy, you know, how much money could you possibly make? So like, that's why I have all the 144 Atoll maps already ready to go. All of them are 20 quant and just with anything I can run. I didn't try to make these all perfect at all. They're just, as long as no reflect and no leech, no regen, I just took the map and said screw it. Like all the currency like I normally do, you know, I'm not counting everything that drops. I'm only going to count the currency tabs, divinations. I'll turn all these at the end too. You know, the fragments. You know, my maps that drop is only going to be like the 2. Delirium, if it appears, you know, I'm just going to count Delirium Orbs. And then since I'm not taking Essence and Metamorph and Blight and all that, I'm not going to count any drops from these. So if any Essence drops, any fossils, any oils, any Metamorphs, I'm not going to include them because it's not going to be that worth that much money. That's why I don't have them affiliated. But that's pretty much the base of it. So pretty much 144 Atolls. This comes out to be about an 804 chaos investment for this, which is roughly like 4 divines, so it's not that much at all. Will we make more than 4 divines? Yes, it's pretty much guaranteed. It's just, is it worth the time? That's what we have to figure out. So pretty much all the maps go for roughly about 5 chaos each in bulk, which is 720 chaos. The 576 chisels on all of them being white, it's about 70 chaos rounded up. And then the alchemy orbs, I put them all at 0.1, but it's like 14 chaos, which alchemy orbs is really cheap. And I didn't really recount the scourings and fixing them all because I wasn't really paying attention when I did this last night, setting all this up. So I really don't know how many scourings you use, but that's why I say it's just, you know, I just round it down to 4 divines. It's easy enough. But like I normally do, I'll just, you know, put everything in here. Let me run these a couple. But the nice thing about doing this is you can just grab a bunch of them and not really care. So I'll grab like 9 of them at once. But it's pretty much just put the map in. We're just going to take the quantity. Because, I mean, like essence, without essence, not worth it. There's nothing on here really. Like ambush would be good, but you want to take the straw box nodes on top of that. Which I'm not, so I'm skipping all of it. So I'm just going to do the poor man strategy. Just take this. No master missions. Just taking blue or red if you want to do. And it's going. Simple as that. Hold on a second. If I don't die because of this trade. Okay. So pretty much the strategy for this is if I see expedition, I'm going to sort of do what Pastron did. That's how I sort of learned about this. Is pretty much, hold on. Oh, I left my gems too. I forgot about this. Is hit them all, let them all go, run around the map, then come back and kill everything. That's what I'm going to pretty much do with this. Hopefully I don't die doing this because I don't have an expedition all league. Doing some of this. Take this. I'm not really going to try to get the perfect strategy. I'm mostly just taking whatever I can. I hope it doesn't kill me. Looks good enough to me. So the current strategy is when we hit this, and then we'll just come back later. But I am a little worried about playing this because I'm probably going to kill myself a lot. But this is sort of with a Magic Fine hybrid character. So that's why it definitely does. So my loot filter is a little bit more strict, so I'm not going to see everything. But it's pretty much like your normal. Let's go in, kill the boss. And then out we go. But it's a pretty basic strategy. That's why I call this the poor man strategy. You can do this with anything really. Just do whatever you like the most. But especially old school out can go. I just want to see how it goes. I know it's profitable. Do I think running Scarabs would be better? Of course it is. Unless you're doing like the first like couple days of a league, I would say. Because then nobody's come back here. I guess everything died apparently. Loot up this area. Okay, well nothing spawned, which is weird. Not really the way I expected to show this off. Well, normally you kill a bunch of things. And then at the end you just do a tablet so you don't die. Map currency, we can get some money. Like in general, I think that's pretty much the map. So like the maps are very quick to run. A little bit slower because of the like we get expedition, a little bit slower if we get this or that. But overall maps you can see it run very quick. Then we'll do this real quick. Man, because I still need to do a challenges league for this, so I'm doing this. Sure. I had no idea how to do this one here. Okay, that's it for the map. And then we get out, go again. So the maps definitely don't take long to run. But like, you know, it's not a lot of loot from doing these. I'm just going to keep it all separate. Then we'll come back in a couple seconds with all the results. For me, probably a couple hours. I'm also recording this the night before I start streaming. So it'll probably take me about 1 day to do this. Maybe less, depending on how fast I go. How much trades and all that kind of stuff. Oh, let me put this away. But I'm gonna give me a couple seconds and I'll be right back with the second half of this video. Hello everyone, so we're back now. It took me a lot faster to run these than I expected. I thought this was gonna be a couple day project, and we ended up going through the full 144 in roughly about 1 day. It was like maybe like 8-10 hours, give or take, you know, on stream, off stream. Did most of them on stream. I think I did like the 1 row off stream. I did like maybe from row 2 all the way to like the last, maybe like row 2 through 9 was on stream, and I did the last 3 off stream pretty quick, like an hour or so. But it did not take that long. It's definitely a lot more profitable than I thought it was gonna be. One thing though, when you take stream of conscious, is that you do not see shit for drops really. I pretty much was taking 12 maps at a time, and by the time I finished running all 12 maps, I barely filled this whole thing up. It was really interesting. This is also the strict loot filter too and stuff, but still. So overall, it cost us 804 chaos to start this project, and we made some money back pretty well. So we got 4 memories, only 1 Ironheart, which is weird even though we had the Ironheart node, but apparently it gave us the other ones. You know, 51 stack decks. These all go for about 2 chaos each. We had a lot of expedition logbooks drop. I was very surprised. I did not expect to see this many. We had these 12 are all Black Scythe. These 2 are Knights of the Sun. We had 2 Druids. And we had 1 Black Scythe that actually had a boss on it. This dropped on the third to last map, I think. It's like map 141 or so. The boss one dropped, which is really surprisingly. And I'm surprised how cheap they are this league. Like this is 1 divine, which I'm gonna split. Like 10 chaos, you know, like 50 chaos, 30 chaos. Super cheap. And we got a decent amount of rerolls, like 46 2 gens, 20 Danigs, 120 Gwens, and no one cares about this one. Where are you at? So currency tab was interesting. We had 4 raw divines drop. The 5th divine was for 1 trade because I found a I found 1 2 passive and 1 3 passive mana efficiency small cluster jewels that sold. I think the 3 passive was 60 chaos and the 2 was 30 chaos. And we also found 1 medium cluster that sold for 120, so someone just needed to change. That's why I had the extra divine in here. But a lot of chaos. like maybe around 100 or so just from drops. A lot of exalted orbs. I was really surprised. I think we got like 2 in 1 map or so. I think one was from a God Touch, and a lot of them were just from random like strong boxes, stuff like that, just random drops. You know, like 360 chisels, like the chisels, the awakened sextants, the aura makings, like all of those ones on the horizons, I guess technically, those all came from the ritual or the altar. I mean, the altar that lets you get, I think it's map currency or something like that. That's where all this came from. So taking the altars is definitely going to persuade your drops and stuff by a massive amount. Because if it wasn't for the altars, I would not have most of this at all. And the exotics, you know, it's pretty interesting. Like only 20 grands, like 139 lessers, 52 greaters. Pretty much these were just from beyond that rolled randomly on the map. And so one thing that surprised me too is I took Harvest. And I ran Harvest at the beginning of this league, and it was trash on T16. And holy shit, did they buff it right now. So, yeah, I found 3 bosses. One of them dropped the Sacred Orb, and the other 2, which I think was the yellow one. I had 2 yellows and 1 blue. And the other ones just dropped like 500 Life Force. So they were a little bit more common. I thought they were going to be. I was really surprised to see one. But like over 10,000. And I was prioritizing if they had a blue monster in there. And then like from there to see like what color it was. Like prioritizing yellow, then blue, then pink. But like, you know, 10k, 13k, 12k. This is a lot of currency, which I'll show at the end. Fragments. Pretty much like 6 Divine Vessels. Like the 1 Sacred Blossom that dropped. No Breach. You know, Scarabs. This was all over the place. A lot of this came from choosing the altar that had monsters drop a Scarab. I think I had like maybe 2 God Touches that dropped like 3 Gilded Scarabs. That was pretty much it. But most of this is all from mainly the altars. But not much in here at all. A lot of invitation. This is just because I started with 0. And we pretty much did 1, 2, 3, like 5 full rotations. Which is a lot of currency, but that's mostly where that's just running the maps in general. And like we had 1 random twisted drop at the end. Maps, we actually got a lot more maps than I thought we were going to be. So I started, like I said, with Promenade and Jungle Valley. I got the Promenade maps I needed for not my next project, the one after. So I needed to get all 40 of my Promenade maps, which I got. So once I got my 40 Promenade maps, it was pretty quick. I switched off of it, and I went to Atoll and the File Cathedral. I did this a lot later, the File Cathedral. Mainly was on Atoll first. But I went back to Atoll just because I'm going to be doing another version of this project, including essences. So I just started getting my Atoll maps and the File Cathedrals. So I can run this, try to get more Atoll, so it saved me some currency buying them. That's the whole point of it, really was. But, you know, ideally you would want to do, like, if you're doing Atoll, you know, choose, like, you know, like all Atoll and like 1 the File Cathedral, or all Atoll, 1 Mud Geyser, like, you know, do it based on what you want. I would always probably recommend doing a connected map, because when I had the 1 Jungle Valley, I saw 1 Jungle Valley. If you do a map that you're connected with, you'll get a lot more maps out of it. It's just something I knew, but I want to go for it this way. That's why I did it. When I do this project again, I'm not going to be doing Atoll, so we're going to get a lot less. And like 3 Elder maps, 1 Conquer map, and 2 full simulacrums, and a lot of orbs. We had about 4, 5, 6, 10, 15, 22 Delirium orbs plus 2 full simulacrums just from having random mirrors in the map. So it's definitely really good overall. And I didn't count anything else. So overall, the currency tab was about 2,600 chaos. The harvest, this doesn't include the Sacred Blossom. This is just the Life Force. It's roughly 1,800 chaos, which is about 9 divines. I was very surprised about that. I did not expect that whatsoever. But harvest is extremely strong if you get it. Divination tab, there was no divination cards dropped. Fragment, this does not include the scarabs, just like in the imitations. It says 66 chaos, which is weird. But I don't think that includes the Sacred Blossom. Oh no, Sacred Blossom I think is an invitation, so it might include in there. I'm not fully sure where Sacred Blossom fell into in Excellence, but it's somewhere. Actually, no, it's not even in here. I didn't count the Sacred Blossom, actually. So Sacred Blossom is actually missing, which sells for 2 divines. So that should actually be located, I guess, in a fragment tab. So it should be a 2 in front of this. So, yeah, okay. So I forgot that. So, yeah, the invitation. So there it goes. So yeah, fragment 266, mainly just the one Sacred Blossom. The Scarab tab is 174 chaos, which is like nothing. Invitations. This is only because of the Screaming invitations from the rotation. From mainly because of this. Like each of these is pretty much where all that money came from. The maps, I just calculated all the maps at 4 chaos because they're maps that will sell no matter what. People buy those maps like crazy. They go between 4 to 5, so I just went low. 4 chaos, easy, we're done. Which pretty much covered all the maps to start the project alone. Like the 28 chaos for one Conquer map, the 45 for the Elders, 340 chaos for the Delirium tab. So for this tab, I didn't sit there and actually go like, okay, what would this sell? What would this sell? You know, what would this sell in bulk? I just went whatever Excellence said, which is the lowest price they go for. Like, it is said that these were, not this one, I think it's this one. Yeah, I calculated this one at 7 chaos, so I just said screw it, I'll just do 7. Even though at bulk, it started at 2 of them, I'll make it go straight to 10. But I'd rather just go low ball, just because prices change so much. Stack decks like 102 chaos. And this is an interesting one too, is the logbooks. So, this is a big chunk of currency just in the logbooks. So it's about 420 chaos in the Black Scythe, 110 in the Knights of the Sun, 20 for the 2 shitty randoms, 200, which is about 1 divine for that 1 boss one. And then all the reroll currency together goes, this is not bulk, just the lowest price for a single one of them is 526 chaos, which is over 2 divines. And then the memories, unidentified, the only one that matters is Ironheart. The other ones are worth 10 chaos or less, but Ironhearts go for 1.5 divines, unidentified. So that's where most of this money came from. And which all of that together came out at over 8,000 chaos, which means we profited 7,500 chaos from this project, which means we profited 37 divines just by doing Alk and Go. And it's a lot more expected. Definitely when doing this, you pretty much, if you're just doing Alk and Go, take Stream of Conscious. This is what pretty much made it happen. I will link my tree in the description below. But the tree is pretty much like the Ironheart that probably doesn't exist. Like the Alva, which doesn't matter. Like, you know, blocking everything for Sacred Grove, Expedition, and Delirium. The 1 Delirium wheel. All the map wheels with singular focus. The Shrine, which wasn't needed. Just extra points. You know, the Harvest wheel, Expedition wheel. Random Shrines. Like the full Quant wheel, inside and outside. The Expedition Harvest wheels. You know, because I went blue, I just taking the blue. If you're going red, just try to get the bottom one if you can. And just scale like whatever you can on red. And then, just because I did blue, I just went with the Eater. And then I took the top hat. Pretty basic tree. I'm going to now do a second version of this project. This one will take me a little bit longer because I'm going to run all the Defiled Cathedrals I have first. With actually using my own like cartographer scarabs to try to get more Atoll maps. So I don't have to buy them. And then we're going to redo this project actually. But we're going to add essences, which is something I was curious about in the beginning. Because like but this one's going to be a little more investment heavy because we're going to take Keurig's essence node on top of this to get 3 essence per map. And we're going to corrupt pretty much all of them to see what happens. I don't think it's going to be as profitable as Expedition and Harvest, but I want to try for myself. Mainly because I also need to craft this build a little bit more. And I need essence to craft. So something for myself anyway, and that's something I want to try. But that's what we're going to do next. I'm not sure what the tree's going to look like. But I definitely, after seeing the amount of money I made on Harvest, I plan to keep Harvest for sure. Expedition I might keep or I might dump it. Or we might just cut like all the random nodes out, shrines. You know, maybe reduce our quant and stuff to try to take all that. But I got to see for myself. But it's a very interesting project. it's pretty much does show that, you know, Alkin Goat is still very viable. It's doable, but you definitely want to make sure you have a tree for it. I mean, it's definitely going to be a potential for next league on League Star, which I want to try it also. But it was fun. You know, this is with a semi-Magic Find build though, so that might change numbers a little bit if you're doing it with no Magic Find gear. But just want to get a heads up on that. But hope you liked the video. If you like to see, subscribe down below. Follow on Twitch. And hope everyone had a good one. Hope to see everyone on the next one. Goodbye, everyone.